Okay, if you're learning Spanish, you have absolutely hit this wall. You want to say something simple, like I'm thinking about it, and you just freeze. Is it de? Is it sobre? Maybe en? That one little word, about, can be one of the most frustrating things in the entire language. But what if I told you the problem isn't the word about at all? What if the secret is to look somewhere else entirely?
So, here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the problem itself. Then I'll introduce you to a new rule that's going to change everything. We'll meet the prepositions that do all the heavy lifting, and then we'll find out who's really in charge in a Spanish sentence. And finally, we'll see how the pros handle this exact issue.
All right, let's dive right in. Section 1, the preposition problem. This is such a classic translation trap, and it catches pretty much everyone.
It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? How do you say about it? But the real answer in Spanish is, well, it depends. And that, right there, is where the headache starts.
Okay, check this out. This is the trap in action. In English, we use about for all three of these ideas, no problem. But in Spanish, the preposition is totally different every single time. When you use the verb pensar, to think, you think en something. When you use hablar, to talk, you talk de something. And with aprender, to learn, you learn sobre something. See, it's the verb that's calling the shots, not the word about. And hey, if you've been beating your head against the wall over this, you are so not alone. As this Reddit user from r/learnspanish puts it so perfectly, trying to translate prepositions word for word is just a really bad idea. It's a shared struggle for sure, but there is a much better way.
Which brings us to our solution. And it's not about memorizing more words. It's about adopting a whole new mindset. Let's call it the don't translate rule.
So here is the crucial mind shift. We have to stop thinking of a preposition as a word we can just translate. Its real job is to build relationships and connect ideas in a sentence. Think of it less like a dictionary entry and more like grammatical glue.
So here's the new mental model, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, forget about the preposition for a second and just find the verb. The action is your anchor. Second, recall the preposition that partners with that verb. You gotta think of them as a team. And third, build your phrase from there. With this method, you're not translating anymore. You're actually building sentences the way a native speaker would. Now, to really understand why this new rule is so important, let's meet the 3 biggest multitaskers in the Spanish preposition world: a, de, and en. These little words do an incredible amount of work.
Let's start with a. We all learn it means to, and sure, it does that when we're talking about motion or connecting to another verb. But look at this. It can also mean on foot or at 3 o'clock. This one little word has 4 totally different jobs. You can see right away why a direct translation just falls apart.
Next up is de, and this one is a real powerhouse. It can show possession, kind of like an apostrophe S in English. It can mean from, whether you're talking about where you're from or what caused something. It can even mean than when you're comparing things. The meaning completely depends on the job it's doing in that specific sentence.
And finally, there's en. We often learn this one is just in or on, but look what it can do. It handles location, time, and the way something is done, like going by boat. It's even used in common idioms like en broma, for as a joke. Seeing all these different jobs really just hammers home the point. You can't translate the preposition, you have to understand its role.
Okay, this is where it all comes together. If prepositions are just building relationships, who decides which one to use? The answer is simple. The verbs are the boss. This right here is the aha moment.
So instead of asking, how do I say about, you need to start asking, what preposition does my verb need? The verb pensar always partners with en. The verb hablar partners with de. Aprender takes sobre. And soñar, to dream, that one partners with con. The verb dictates the preposition. It's a team, and you only have to learn it once. And it can get even more specific. A single verb can have different partners to change the meaning just slightly. For example, you use pensar en when something is just on your mind, but you use pensar de or sobre when you're giving an opinion about it. Or you can learn from someone with aprender de, or learn about a topic with aprender sobre. Mastering these little teams is the real key.
Now, this isn't just a classroom trick. This is exactly how professionals approach language to make sure they're clear and have good style. Let's look at a real-world example of this in action.
I mean, when a huge company like Microsoft needs to make its software sound natural and clear to millions of Spanish speakers, they do not leave things up to chance. They actually create rules for this stuff.
In their official Spanish style guide, Microsoft tells its translators to use language that's clear, friendly, and concise. They advise them to avoid long, formal phrasing in favor of a simpler, more direct syntax. And, you guessed it, a big part of that is choosing the right prepositions.
Here's a perfect example. The guide explicitly tells translators to use the simple, common preposition sobre instead of the more formal, stuffy acerca de when translating about. This isn't about grammar, it's a style choice to sound more modern and direct. Even the pros focus on choosing the best preposition for the job, not just the most literal one.
So, let's boil all this down to your new strategy. First, and most importantly, stop translating prepositions word for word. It's a trap, don't do it. Second, learn your verbs and their prepositional partners together, as a team. And finally, always remember that a preposition's job isn't to be an English word, its job is to build relationships inside the Spanish sentence.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. Changing your mindset from just translating words to actually understanding how they connect and build meaning, that's the key to fluency. So the next time you get stuck, ask yourself that question. It might just change the way you learn.